Welcome to Evanston-Skokie School District 65 Spring Assessment Webinar.
Hello, this is Stacy Beardsley, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction.
Hi, I'm Kylie Klein, the Director of Research, Accountability, and Data.
Hello, Cindy Gonzalez, Assessment Data Analyst from Research, Accountability, and Data.
Hello, I'm Donna Cross, the Director of Multi-Tiered Systems of Support, MTSS, and Social Emotional Learning, SEL.
And we have Jose Alamán, our District Translator, providing this webinar in Spanish.
Our goal for today's webinar is to share information about upcoming spring assessments, the District 65 vision for assessment, and spring assessment updates. Improving student outcomes call for an effective use of a variety of data to inform academic and non-academic decisions. We believe using valid, reliable assessments in combination with regular data cycles will allow leaders and educators to consistently monitor student progress and make adjustments to ensure more equitable learning environments. No one assessment will provide all the information needed for the different stakeholders, state leaders, district and building leaders, educators, families, and students. Each type of assessment has a purpose.
Here, we show some of our different state and local assessments. First, the Illinois Assessment of Readiness, or IAR, the Illinois Science Assessment, or ISA, Dynamic Learning Maps, or DLM, and Access. We also have local assessments, including the MAP assessment. Assessments provide valuable information on student and district outcomes and serve multiple purposes. For our state assessments, there are several benefits. These include being able to compare student proficiency across schools, both within District 65 and with other school districts across the state, as well as being able to measure student proficiency on grade level standards over multiple years. Our local assessments, such as MAP, also provide valuable benefits. We'd like to acknowledge that the unique and unprecedented circumstances of this year, we have still been able to be successful in administering the MAP assessment remotely, due in large part to the collective efforts of our educators, leaders, families, and our students. Our fall MAP assessment, which is given at the beginning of the year, and our winter MAP assessment, which is given in the middle of the year, help give us data that informs our teaching and learning and guides our intervention efforts to provide supports for students and improve outcomes. Our spring assessment data helps to inform our larger programmatic and curricular adjustments, as well as helping us understand additional resources that we may need and how students have progressed across the school year. Similar to our state assessments, the MAP assessments allow us to look at the performance of patterns of students, schools, and district over time, but also give us additional instructional benefits due to the frequency of our assessments. This year, our spring state assessments are going to be a little different. The state assessments, IAR, ISA, DLM, and Access are all required assessments. Last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government allowed states to apply for waivers in order to forego the spring 2020 assessments. This year, however, the state board has made it clear that they would apply for the same waivers. Yet, those waivers to forego testing altogether were not going to be permitted by the federal government. The federal government, however, has said that states can apply for waivers of the 95% participation rate and can offer extended testing windows. Although the all-encompassing waivers have not been provided by the federal government, the state has told us that they intend to apply for the waiver of the 95% participation rate for schools and to make sure that the results will not be used for school accountability purposes. There are certain restrictions involved with our state assessments, including how these assessments can be administered. The state assessments cannot be administered remotely and must be administered by a certified educator, such as a teacher or administrator. These cannot be administered by a paraprofessional or supervisor. States were provided with extended windows and the option to either assess in the spring of this year or the fall of next year. If school districts chose to test in the fall, they would be required to test twice during the school year, once in the fall and again in the spring.
District 65 carefully considered the revised guidance from the state of Illinois, and after deeply considering the options, has decided to move forward with the required state assessments this spring. This was a difficult decision, yet in making the decision, we've attempted to protect our teaching and learning spaces in August and September by testing this spring. It is our hope and belief that we will have more students back for on-site learning in August. And we want to make sure that our educators and students have the time and opportunity they deserve to return to classrooms, build community, learn new routines, and lay the foundations for a strong school year. As a result, we decided to move forward with spring assessments as required by the state of Illinois. The IAR assessment, so the assessment for third through eighth graders, and ISA, our science assessment for 5th and 8th graders, will be scheduled for the last few weeks in May, really as late as possible in May, in order to preserve instructional time and focus our efforts on our local assessments, MAP and MAP fluency, which will be given earlier in May. IAR assesses grade level proficiencies in reading and math in grades 3 to 8, and ISA again measures science knowledge in grades 5 and 8. The assessment window for the DLM assessment, which is for students who have significant cognitive disabilities, opened this week and will remain open until the end of May to allow for flexibility for assessing our students. Access, which is our final state assessment and is for students who are emergent bilinguals, will be held until the fall due to the fact that a high percentage of our students who are emergent bilinguals remain remote. As we think about what this means and what to expect, I want to point out a few specific things. Our state assessments do not impact pre-K through 2nd grade students. So as you can see on the slide, students in pre-K through 2nd grade are not impacted by our IAR or ISA assessments. So they will continue with their regular schedules. Our students in 3rd through 8th grade who have returned to on-site learning in school will take the IAR and ISA assessments. And these assessments will be given during our in-school learning time. Our 3rd through 5th grade students who have remained remote will continue with their regular schedule, yet will not complete IAR or ISA due to the fact that the assessments need to be administered in person and on site. Our 6th through 8th grade students who are remote and concurrent, meaning that they are engaging learning simultaneously with our on-site 6th through 8th grade learners, will have asynchronous tasks assigned during the assessment sessions. And so again, to summarize that, because these are the important pieces of information around what to expect. State assessments do not impact our pre-K to 2nd grade students with the exception of DLM and Access, which will be in the fall. 3rd through 8th grade students who are in school will be taking IAR and ISA during their in-school learning time. Our 3rd through 5th grade students who are remote will continue with their regular schedule and will not engage in IAR or ISA due to the fact that there is not remote testing guidance. And finally, our 6th through 8th graders who are remote, while the assessment windows are occurring, will have asynchronous tasks since their classmates that are learning concurrently with them will be taking our assessments.
Here are the state assessment windows for the spring. The Illinois Assessment of Readiness, or IAR, for grades 3 through 8 will take place May 17th through May 28th. The Illinois Science Assessment, ISA, for grades 5th and 8th will take place from May 10th to May 14th. The Dynamic Learning Maps for our students with cognitive disabilities in grades 3 through 8 will have their assessments from April 6th through May 28th. In the fall of 2021 to 2022, our access test for our emergent bilinguals will take place from July 1st through September 17th. Our District 65 local assessment for this spring, MAP and MAP fluency for grades K through 8 in reading and math will take place between April 26th and May 14th. Next steps. You will be hearing directly from your child's educator or school about the specific timing for the assessments. What you were given in the previous slide was the full window for the assessments. Your child's school and educators will be creating their school-based schedules based on those windows. If you want to know more about the state assessments, you can visit the Illinois State Board of Education ISB website at the link below. If you want to know more about our District 65 assessments, you can visit the assessment page on our District 65 website. Thank you for taking this time to view this webinar. We hope this information was helpful in understanding the spring assessment updates and our decision to move forward with assessments this spring. Thank you for your time and thank you for your support.